Hello, it is Wednesday, January 20th, 2010, and welcome to episode 6 of This Week in Linux. OpenPC.com is claimed to have created the first PC created for the community by the community. This PC is going to use 100% open source free software, and all the hardware is going to come with free and open source drivers. The specs on the website are a little bit mediocre, but it's said to be easily upgradable. So as long as the hardware you're adding is 100% open source compatible, you definitely won't have any problems using this PC. It's supposed to be released at the end of February 2010 for a price of €359. Not sure what that comes out to in dollars, but feel free to Google it. And for the next story, check out this awesome piece of Linux hardware. Yes, that's the Misa digital electric guitar. It runs Gentoo Linux on it. It's got a touchscreen. It runs Linux kernel version 2.6.31. It has Ethernet out. It has SSH out. It has MIDI out. It's got damn near everything you'd want to see out of a touchscreen digital electric guitar. It's the first thing I've ever seen like this. If you've seen anything else like it, please feel free to say something in the comments, because I've got to check this out. I'm a guitar player, so I really get into digital instruments and anything that runs Linux. Moving right along, Linux.com claims to have posted hundreds of jobs on their jobs.linux.com site. I checked it out on my own, and it doesn't appear to be hundreds of jobs available. It looked more like 15 to 20 jobs available. But it's nice to see a site devoted entirely to Linux jobs, and I'm sure that it'll proliferate as more and more people in the Linux community find out and are able to pass on their jobs. As a side note on that, DannyWeb.com is reporting that there are a lot of spam jobs being posted to this board, jobs like truck drivers and data architects that aren't necessarily Linux only. I think that they originally intended for the job board to be, here is a Linux job that might do some other things, because you know in any Linux environment it's not going to be 100% you will use Linux only. You're going to have a Linux administrator that does some other stuff, that does some programming or some AIX administration or whatever, but this job board so far is being used a lot for, we need an AIX administrator with some Linux experience. So I think perhaps over the course of time that'll switch a little bit. They may put some more strenuous requirements on it, but for the time being, jobs.linux.com, you'll be able to find at least a handful of jobs that you can try to apply for. Most seem to be in the New York area. There's a couple in Florida, a couple in France and Germany. If I were in the market to move to one of those places, I would definitely be looking on that site to see if one of those applied to me. In wonderful news for the Linux community, Skype 2.1 Beta 2 has been released as of today, January 20th. There are some great new features such as screen sharing, abuse reporting, UI styling, the ability to quote other messages, and localized time formats. There are also a ton of other bug fixes and improvements available. Feel free to check that out on Skype's website. I'll post a link. It's great to see that now that Skype is back in the hands of the original developers, that they're going to give the Linux client a little bit of the respect that it deserves. Now, I'm not saying it's going to be as good as the Windows client is, because now that they're on 4.0, there's a ton of great things about it. High quality video and audio. Skype for Linux is not quite there yet, but hopefully in the next few months we're going to see a lot of great improvements in that area. That's all for episode 6 of This Week in Linux. I'll see you next time.